Vintage lens sets are great, beautiful, cinematic, full of character, with an organic texture that is fundamentally lacking in modern glass. There's just one problem. They can be an absolute bastard to use.
Let me give you some advice, bastard. Never forget what you are.
But what if you could get a new cinema lens set that had a lot of the same characteristics? And what if the cinema lens set was a perfect blend of modern features with organic vintage lens traits we all appreciate? And what if these cinema lenses were as small as the vintage lenses they emulate? And what if these lenses featured almost no chromatic aberration across their lineup? And what if this cinema lens set was one of the most affordable, professional cinema lens sets in existence?
Do I have everybody's attention now?
No, this is not a too good to be true scenario. This is the Julians APO Mini Prime set, quite possibly the best cine lens set that no one is talking about. While the Dezio Vespids and the Nisi Athenas have become default go-tos for affordable, compact cinema lenses that punch way above their price point, somehow these tiny, compact, dainty little cinema lenses have not been given the same attention. But these may well be the best set of the three, particularly if you're looking for a slightly more soft, organic, vintage aesthetic, and I'm going to show you why. I love vintage lenses, but there is no doubt they're difficult to work with on a practical level, at least compared to modern cine lenses with proper focus gear and T-stops. So I've been looking for something modern that gives me those vintage feels without the vintage headaches. And that's where these Julians come into play. After finally releasing the 21mm, the set now consists of a 21, a 33, a 43, a 58, and an 85, with more in the lineup to come. I currently have all but the 43mm at this time. The Julian set, I would say, are criminally underrated, but are some of the best budget cine lenses I've ever used. Retailing for only $1,000 US, each of these feel way more like a $3,000 or $5,000 lens in terms of how they perform. I can only assume that they haven't become a talking point amongst filmmakers because Julians have been so slow at releasing the complete set. But now the 21mm is here, and this set can really cover all your bases in terms of ideal focal lengths. This Julian set has a bit of a magic trick that none of the other cinema lenses in this price point do, which we'll get to. But first, let's talk specs. These are all T2.4 lenses, apart from the 21mm, which is a T2.6, and they weigh a low 550 grams. The whole set is uniform with a 72mm filter thread on their front and the ability to change between PL and EF mounts for maximum flexibility across cameras. They feature a very smooth focus ring and aperture, and smooth is exactly how I would describe these lenses. Smooth highlight roll-off, smooth focus throw, smooth, soft bokeh. They have these beautiful rainbow flares, but only when wide open, stop down to remove them completely. The look for me is that natural, soft, organic, vintage characteristic, and yet these lenses are somehow also sharp. They're soft, but sharp. It's really hard to explain. They perform exceptionally well wide open, but the image they produce still feels organically soft. They have a pleasing warmth to them that remind me a little bit of maybe Canon FDs or maybe Super Takimuras in terms of their coating, but yet this look is distinctly their own. They are also APO primes, so they have almost no chromatic aberration. And why is this a big deal? Because probably one of the worst aspects of actual true vintage lenses is the CA that is almost always apparent in your image. So here you are basically getting the benefits of a vintage lens set without some of the major cons. What's not to like? But the magic trick the Julians pulls off that no other true cinema lens set really does at this price point is their extremely compact size. they all only measure 68 millimeters, and they are all uniform, which is crazy that they've managed to shrink cinema lenses to this size. I mean, this is what the size of many cinema lenses look like. See, when I go to film, I like to be a filmmaking minimalist. Yes, I have a shit ton of gear, but I like my cameras to be much more stripped down than they once were. I like my rigs light. I like to be able to go handheld quickly and easily, and these lenses are proper cine lenses without the size and bulk of most proper cine lenses. And really, that's the trick that no other quality cinema prime lens set has managed to pull off in quite the same way. Also, I'm so glad to see some of these new budget cine lenses bringing the quality of non-budget cine lenses. I mean, some of these older, more affordable cine lenses were not always created to the highest standard, with certain focal lengths not really color matching with others, but there's no such problems with the Julian set, which is very consistent right across the focal range. And yes, these are full frame cine lenses, not Super 35, so you can put them on almost any camera without restrictions. I just love what Julians have done here because it combines everything I'm looking for in a cine lens and kind of over-delivers in many regards. I've used them for a couple of days on the most recent documentary I filmed in substitute of the vintage Leicas, and while they are actually quite different, they still managed to produce a very nice texture and feel that only made me want to use them more. So what are the drawbacks to this set? Well, first, while I love the compact size, it does mean your aperture wheel is going to be jammed right up close to your camera mount. And this is going to be somewhat awkward to control and hard to get to the gears on this lens, especially if you're working with a focus puller or AC who are doing this remotely. Also, attaching these lenses to the PL mount for the same reasons can be a touch finicky. Also, these are T2.4 apart from the 21, and these are not super speed primes. So if you're someone who just likes to destroy the background filming at T1.4 or something, then this lens set isn't the one for you. However, I will say they are excellent at their widest aperture and easily sharp enough to be used like this. I'm someone that permanently films around T2.9, so this provides zero issues for me personally, but it sort of does depend on your style. But I think the biggest con of these lenses is their close minimum focus distance, or lack of close minimum focus distance on all but the 21mm, as each lens won't allow focus closer than around 50 to 60 centimeters from your subject. It's not terrible, but it can be an inconvenience where you have to swap lenses rather than just move in tighter to your subject with the same lens. The lenses are PL by design, but as mentioned, you do have the option to use EF adapters with them. So in summary, the Julians APO primes are the perfect lens set for those who want the feel of a vintage lens set, but with all the convenience of modern cinema primes, and almost none of the drawbacks, and at a compact size previously unheard of. That feels like something most filmmakers can get behind, and I can't wait to utilize these on another narrative project. But if you're looking for an all-in-one autofocus lens that does pretty much everything you want, check out my breakdown of the best one in the video beside me. As always, I am the Savage Filmmaker, and I'll see you when I see you.